Hello, I'm John Adams, editor of Digital Photo, and welcome to this video lesson where we're going to look at a quick and simple technique for Photoshop and Elements that will add a fabulous fiery glow to your sunset pictures. To use it, all you need is a silhouette shot with the sun behind your subject. Provided you have that, all the colours can be added in Photoshop to give a really rich, vibrant and colourful look, and even better, it only takes a minute to do. So let's go back to our original silhouette picture, there it is there, and see how we apply this fantastic technique. So with your image on screen in Photoshop or Elements, what you first need to do is get your Layers panel visible. Now chances are it'll be here down the right hand side, but if it's not, just go to Window and choose Layers. The next thing we want to do is create a hue saturation adjustment layer. Now that's really easy, just click on the adjustment layer icon, that's this one here with a half black, half white circle, click on that and choose hue saturation from the list. And all we're going to do is take the saturation and move it all the way to the left. That gives us a black and white picture. What we're now going to do is create another adjustment layer, so we go back to our Layers palette, click on the adjustment layer icon once more, and this time we're going to choose Photo Filter. There's our adjustment panel here. And all we're going to do now is set it to Warming Filter 85. There's all sorts you can choose from, but pick the top one, Warming Filter 85, and then move the density all the way to 100. That gives us a nice amber glow over the whole image, and it's looking better already. Make sure you've got Preserve Luminosity ticked, otherwise you get a very dark picture. We want to keep the highlights nice and bright. So tick the Preserve Luminosity box, and once you've done that, we're now going to create another new layer. So that's back in the Layers panel, click on the new layer icon, and that gives us a fresh blank layer 1 at the top of the layers stack. In this layer, we're going to create our colour effect. And to get some nice bold colours, we've got to add them. So to get our colours, click on the foreground colour swatch here, and the colour picker will pop up on screen. What we need is a nice bold orange colour. So we'll move this slider here to get into the oranges, something like that should be okay, and then we'll click once round about there to get a nice bold orange colour. Click OK to that and orange will be imported as your foreground colour. We now need another colour and that's for the background, so we'll click on the background colour swatch and this time we're going to go for a bold red. So get red selected on this slider and then just drag the mouse across and release on the red to get a nice bold red. Click OK and we've got orange as our foreground and red as our background. We're now going to select the gradient tool, and that's this one here. Now the default option is the foreground to background gradient. If you click on this box here, you can see there it is, there's our orange to red, foreground to background, and that's the one we want. So we can click OK to that, and then for the type of gradient, we're going to choose this first option, which is called linear. There are all kinds of different options as we go along the list, but we want linear. With our gradient tool set up, all we have to do is drag a line from about sort of 2/3 up the image, down to about 2/3 down the image, and then release the mouse. We get a nice orange to red gradient in the background. Now this has obscured our entire picture, but if we change the blending mode in the Layers panel, we can make these colours interact with the scene below. We're going to do that here. We're going to click where it says Normal, and then simply choose Overlay from the list. And that'll make our wonderful colours flood through the scene. Now at the moment it's a little bit strong, so all we're going to do is take our opacity down of that colourful layer down to about 50%. And that gives us a much more realistic look, but still makes the most of those wonderful colours. Now you're probably thinking that took much longer than a minute, but that's because I was explaining it as I went along. So let's now run through it once more and see how quick and easy this really is. So I'll just delete what we've done so far. Let's just drag these to the trash. Delete all these bits and pieces, and we're back to our starting point with our regular colour silhouetted picture. And I'll also hit D to reset our colours so we're back to normal on our colour palette. So with a shot open on screen, we're going to first of all create a new adjustment layer and we're going to select Hue Saturation. In the Hue Sat palette, we're going to drag saturation all the way to -100, and then we're going to create another adjustment layer and we're going to select Photo Filter. We're going to go for the warming filter and drag the density all the way to +100 and make sure that Preserve Luminosity box is ticked. With that done, we're then going to create a new layer by clicking on the icon, and this is where we're going to use our gradient tool. So we select our gradient, we click on the foreground colour and get ourselves a nice bold orange colour, something like that. Once we've got the foreground set, we'll do the same for the background, and this time we'll go for a nice red colour and click OK. We'll click on our gradient tool, and then in the tool options bar, we're going to select the linear gradient option. We're then simply going to drag a line down from the top to the bottom, something like that should be okay. Then we're just going to change the blending mode by clicking where it says normal and selecting overlay. All we have to do now is reduce the opacity of that layer down to about 50%, and we have wonderful sunset colours, rich, warm and vibrant. So if you've got a nice silhouette shot with the sun behind your subject, give that a try, because it's a great way to introduce fantastic colours to your scene really fast. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.